Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. All right. All right. We back up in here. Thank you, everyone. And I apologize for the technical difficulties with new equipment, new sound, new things, come new problems. But we're back up in here on a Wednesday night. Like I tell you, every Wednesday night at 7, we back up in here. Let me recap what we already went through. We're going to go over it again. And uh, it's a new season. It's the 22-23 season, and it's going down. Me and Steve are excited. We back up in the studio. It's going to be crazy this season. We got the beat the host game that we want you guys to all get involved in, and which is I'm gonna put the link up. I'm gonna leave the link on while Steve is going through the news, and while we go through the news, I'm just going to leave the link up so you can all go through and copy the link and get involved in the contest. And the rules for the contest goes as this: if we get 50 people or under, we'll have 2 gift cards to give away. Over 50 people, if it's just 51, we could give away 4 gift cards. It'll be 2 $50 gift cards from me and 2 $50 gift cards from Steve. But we'll concentrate on Steve because I don't believe anybody's going to be able to beat me. What you want?
It's going in and out.
Huh?
It's going in and out.
Your sound? Oh, okay. The $50 gift cards will go as follows again. Under 50, it'll be 2. Over 50, it'll be 4. Over 100, we will do 6 gift cards.
Yes.
And the way it'll work is if you beat Steve, if we get 3 people over Steve, if we get 4 people and we're only giving away 3 gift cards, it'll be the highest to the bottom. All right. So highest scorer gets a card. The next one gets a card up to 3. All right. And I have to stress that so everybody understands the rules. We're not giving $50 gift cards to everyone. It's for the top 3 people that beat Steve and for the top 3 that can beat me, which is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen for me either. So I guess we'll be able to keep the money.
That wasn't too convincing to me, Steve. Well,
when you see my picks, you'll find out why.
Oh, man, it's going to be an exciting season. But I'm going to let Steve get into the news. While Steve talks about the news, I'm going to go ahead and put this link up here. www.officefootballpool.com. And the rest of the stuff, Showtime, goes to our direct link where you can sign in. And also, you have to become a subscriber to qualify to win your gift cards. So subscribe to our YouTube, not just our Facebook, but we would love you to subscribe to our Facebook, our YouTube at the same time. We would love it, but it's, we appreciate you guys tuning in and loving the show and giving us all the support that we get in our DMs and as we go through our daily week. Really love the support from everybody. But like I said, I'm going to leave the link up back and forth as we go. But Steve, you go ahead and kick off into the news about what's going on in the NFL right now.
All right, I'll start first with I'm just going to summarize, but start first with the cut down day. Yesterday was cut down day, started from 80 down to the final team of 53. Now, in the past years, it used to be a 5-team practice squad, and then it was a 17 practice squad. Now it's up to a 17-team practice squad. So you don't see as many of the big cutoffs as far as cuts that you used to see in past years. So when I looked at the cuts from this year, there weren't any major surprises that really need to be mentioned. There's not really anybody that's going to really affect your fantasy league. So I'm not going to really get into it today, but I do want to focus on a story that is trending, which is the shooting Sunday of Brian Robinson. For those who aren't familiar, he was the starting running back last year for the University of Alabama. He came into Washington Commanders training camp as a number 3. Through hard work and his talent, he rose up to being named as a running back 1 starter for the Commanders. He was shot a couple times in his lower extremities on Sunday. Ron Rivera stated that as of now, he has no timetable for his return. So we're going to wait and see. He did show up at training the facilities yesterday and today, which is an encouraging sign. So we're going to pray for him and just hope that he can come back this season and have a successful year.
Isn't that you guys starting running back?
Yes, he is. And so right now with this happening, it's going to move Antonio Gibson back to the starting 1 position, along with J.D. McKissick as number 2. And so those are 2 guys that if you don't see them yet on your fantasy teams, they might be somebody you might want to look into.
I don't think this is Washington Commander running backs is somebody I'm really be looking forward to having on my fantasy football team.
Well, you being a Ron Rivera fan, you know that Ron Rivera is a running coach. And so you're going to get stats from a Ron Rivera-led team in the running game.
That's right. You guys did have Ron Rivera. I apologize for that problem that you guys had to gain.
Well, as I've stated for years now, Ron Rivera is a coach that can get you to the playoffs. He's not going to get you much farther than that. But if you need a coach that's going to establish a sense of what's the word to use? A sense of control
over the team.
Yeah,
he didn't have much control over Cam. He let Cam do whatever he wanted to do because Cam should be a Hall of Famer right now, in my opinion, if he was coached by the right coach.
See, I see it differently. Cam Newton is a victim of his own choices. Ron Rivera did everything within his power to bring out the best in Cam and actually led him to a NFL MVP season with a Super Bowl.
He led him, or did Cam Newton single-handedly with all that athletic talent lead us to that Super Bowl?
I would say it was a team effort, as it always is. And Ron Rivera, if you remember, they had a strong defense led by Thomas Davis. I guess you forgot about him.
You know what? I'm gonna get off Carolina because I feel the hate coming from you. That old hate that you had for us. I feel it, Steve. I feel it.
Yeah, I don't know how he's feeling it, but when we get to our predictions, he may be feeling it a little bit more.
Well, let me let you go ahead and get into more of this news of what's going on. And I'm going to throw that link back up so you guys can copy that link down so you can get in this competition.
Well, before he gets into Garoppolo, I do want to have my first rant of the season. I will be having several rants just to warn you guys because I'm a passionate football fan and I don't like some things that I see in the state of the league. And for today,
what is it that you don't like, Steve?
Well, I'm going to speak on it. Today, I'm going to speak as someone who's been a lifelong Washington Redskin / commander. Commanders, whatever you want to call themselves.
Cobra!
As a Washington Redskin fan, lifelong, I speak on behalf of all the other Washington Redskin fans. When a corporation like the NFL, multi-billion-dollar corporation that has 32 owners,
right?
When one owner is not upholding their weight, usually in a major corporation, they would find any way possible to get rid of that owner, the person who is causing conflict within the organization. The NFL for 23 years has placated this guy called Daniel Snyder. And for those who aren't familiar with who he is, Redskin fans refer to him as the Antichrist. This is somebody who took what was once a proud, thriving organization, one of the bedrocks of the NFL, and has turned it into a laughingstock. I'm going to just point some things out to you. The year before Daniel Snyder took over the organization in 1999, the Washington Redskins had the second highest attendance in the league, averaging over 65,000 fans a game. Only one better was, I believe it was the Bills, who always sells out as well, another strong fan base. Last year, 2021, the Washington Commanders, but actually at the time, I guess they were called the Washington football team. I don't even want to get into that today. they had the second worst home attendance in the NFL, under 42,000 a game. Now, how do you go from the second highest to the second worst in such a relatively short period of time?
Are you trying to blame the management and not the team going down in popularity?
No. It goes down to you have an owner that has turned off the fan base so much that so many fans have, who I grew up with as Redskin fans, have either become Raven fans, Eagle fans, or Cowboy fans. So many people have just gotten so disgusted with how things are set up with this organization that they refuse to go out to watch the team. Anybody who's been out to a game at FedEx Field recently knows that you get almost as many road fans at the game than you get Commander fans, and which is sad, because there used to be a time when for 20, 30, 40 years, you couldn't even buy a ticket to a Redskin game.
Sold out
For years, waiting list.
Wow.
And now they're begging people, you can buy single game tickets to a Redskin game, which is sad, because for someone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, a heyday when Redskins was everything in town.
I was still in diapers then. I want to point that out.
Well, don't even go there. But yeah, it's just sad to see how far the team has fallen. So what can we do to get this man out? The man's done everything possible to force himself to be out as owner, and the NFL owners are balking.
But let's say, isn't your team surrounded by a bunch of confusion and scandal?
It absolutely is. We have allegations of sexual harassment, allegations of a toxic work environment.
That's bad with this Me Too movement going on.
It absolutely is.
I'm surprised that it hasn't come ahead to where it's blown up, and they were forced to sell the team or something with what type of allegations were you talking about?
Well, there was an allegation apparently some of the cheerleaders who were doing a fashion shoot. There were some photos that were taken apparently where a couple were topless.
Wow.
And then apparently a video was circulated among some of the higher level season ticket holders in which they were able to see the video without the cheerleaders' permission. Then among that,
so you guys got a lot of little underhanded stuff. You got a little red light district going on at the
apparently
Commander facility.
And then to make it worse, when they were doing the investigation, Snyder did his own investigation where he was harassing some of the people who came out making the allegations.
Wow.
So, I mean, this is just stuff that in any other line of field, they would be long gone.
Wait a minute. You guys don't even have cheerleaders anymore.
No, a couple years ago, he fired the cheerleaders along with the band. This year, he tried to bring back a semblance of a band and also brought back a dance team.
So the cheerleaders were fighting back because of some risque photos taken of them.
Correct. That
your front office okayed, and he fired the whole cheerleading staff.
Essentially, yes.
Wow.
So he's just been toxic. I mean, there's just no other way to state it. Team needs a new direction. They need new ownership. I refuse to put my whole heart into an organization that's not committed to winning, not committed to doing what the fans want.
So you're serious? You stepped away from your.
I have stepped away. I support the fan base.
You got your Theismann jersey behind you.
Yeah, and that Theismann jersey represents what? Greatness. It represents NFL MVP 1983.
Wow. Okay.
A time when the Redskins were everything to the city of Washington and the surrounding area. Now it's just another season, no hope.
Hey, but those black Commander uniforms, I give them a thumbs up. That's what I can say about you guys. Now, your front office, do you think they're going to do something where the NFL will eventually get rid of this person? Because the name they picked, Commanders, out of the names that I saw, that you guys had some really nice names you could have chosen. Where did Commanders come from?
Well, let me speak on that, and that's another reason. So when the team, for years, he stated, "I will never ever change the name. Whatever I do, I will never change from the Redskins." Then finally, what happened, and this is the secret part. People think, because the Native Americans fought against the name Redskin, that's the reason why the name was changed.
Right.
Actually, no, the reason why the name was changed was because the corporate sponsors who were trying to force Snyder to leave, they decided to start their own campaign to force the name to be changed, stating that if he didn't change the name, they were all going to drop out as sponsors. So money, the pressure of money and losing these key sponsors is the reason why he eventually caved in to changing the name.
Money, money, money.
Yes. And now on top of that, when he did change the name to the Washington football team, which people were kind of like, what is that? He went through and told the fan base, we're going to have a campaign where we're going to have 30 different names. You guys vote on what name you think would be the best name for
the fan base. The fan base votes.
The fan base vote. That's what he told, yes.
And so all you guys came up with Commanders?
No. The fan base had several different names that they had as their leading names.
What was the top of the list?
Some were Red Wolves. Some were the Red Tails. Some were sticking with the Washington football team.
I like the Washington football team. I got used to it after a couple seasons.
Yeah. So these were some of the favorite names.
But the
Commanders
Red Wolves is that's kind of nice.
Yes. Now
Washington
the reason why
Red Wolves.
Yeah, the reason why he didn't go with these names was because someone years ago decided they were going to go out and buy up all the rights to names they think would be profitable because they figured that at some point the Redskins would be changed. Snyder being as cheap as he is, rather than paying the money to get the name,
wow,
he decided instead, his wife liked the name Commanders. He decided to go with that name, even though it was like less than 4% of the fan base wanted Commanders as a name. This really turned off a lot of the fans who at this point, their only hope was, well, we can somehow reclaim some semblance of our history, our fan base.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And this is where we are now, is that
the fan base wanted Red Wolves or Red Tails.
Right.
And before I go there, how much were the people trying to get from them to get the Red Wolves?
Relatively nothing relative to what the NFL is worth. He probably could have paid them off for $1 million or whatever. What's that? That's one
a drop in the bucket.
Drop in the bucket for the NFL.
Well, man,
for how much they'd make in merchandising, that wouldn't even cover the first 2 months of how much they'd sell in merchandise. I'll tell you this: I went to the store a month ago to look for a Commander's hat. When I went in there, they had Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans.
Were you in Washington?
No, out here in LA.
Oh, okay.
They had every other hat except for the Commanders. So I asked the guy, I said, do you have any Commanders hat? He kind of looked at me incredulous, like, oh, we don't carry that. I mean, nobody really cares for that.
You know what? I left you alone because you had your NFL hat on, and you know it goes with the ambiance of what we got going on. But that really boils down to what's going on with you with the Commanders.
Isn't that sad? I mean, but how sad is that? That here's a team, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Super Bowl participant.
Wow,
a history of 75 plus years in the NFL of winning. And now Snyder has reduced us down where I have a better chance of buying a Jacksonville Jaguar hat than I do buying a Washington Commanders hat.
I wonder how it is in Washington. You should go to Washington.
Oh, I mean, it's not even much. I mean, there's Commander stuff there, but people aren't buying them. You're not seeing anybody buying Commanders gears.
And if you're just now tuning in, once again, we have the link up that you can copy this link, and it's right down and below in blue, and that enters you in our contest. It enters you in the contest, but you must go to YouTube and become a subscriber to our channel to be qualified to get the NFL gift cards if you can beat us in this whole NFL season. We're going to be going around this week pushing the competition, especially at our at our fantasy football draft.
Yes.
We'll be there. I look forward to the 10 guys that's going to be in the draft with us. Good luck to all you guys. I plan on taking this one home. You see my championship belt up there. I believe I'm gonna bring that out, put it all across my shoulder when I'm picking my picks and walking up to put the names on the board to the championship team. It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's right.
But
I do want to talk before I let Package get into Garoppolo. I do want to put in one little point about Baker Mayfield. I don't know if you guys heard in the news this week. But Baker Mayfield pretty much came out and made a statement saying that he's going to slaughter the Browns.
Woo! I love it.
Now, I being a Baker Mayfield fan, even though he is with Carolina now, one thing I've always loved about him is his moxie.
See the hate? See the hate, Steve? You said you was wishing us well.
I am wishing you
all
well.
off camera, people. Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation. Steve has been with this little fake sense of, you guys are gonna do good. I've never been. I don't trust him when it comes to that because he's always been a Cam Newton hater and a Carolina hater for years. My goodness, this man has ripped into me, especially when we had our bad seasons. I don't need the fake stuff, Steve.
I just like to keep it real. I'm speaking on. I like the direction your team is heading in. I like Baker Mayfield. I'm just not solely your coach. I'm Matt Rule, and you have spoken on this as well. You're not a Matt Rule fan.
Well,
and so coaching is important.
He's from college.
He's from college.
This is his first NFL stint, right?
But in the NFL, that you have a lot of competition this year, coaching plays a huge factor. And I mean, I think on talent alone, they're going to get a playoff spot, but I don't see them going much farther than that.
Since you brought it up, I didn't bring up Carolina. Steve brought up Carolina by saying Baker Mayfield. And I've looked on some of the popular shows like Skip.
Yes.
Skip went out and said him first. No, it wasn't him first. It was me first.
Yeah.
Carolina is going to make the playoffs. Convincingly make the playoffs. And we're going to win our division.
Well, we'll get to that when we get to our picks.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to the picks. Before we get to the picks, though, I wanted to talk about the state of the 49ers. We got some big 49er fans that watch the show. Omar, how you doing? Shout out to Omar up there. 49ers. Now, they're putting Garoppolo, and just this week, Garoppolo decided to sign back with the team. He's going to take his backup role, and the man that took him to the playoffs, and not just to the playoffs, but deep in the playoffs, right?
That's right.
They're going to sit him on the bench, and they're going to put Trey Lance in.
Correct.
Now, Trey Lance, this will be his first starting role.
Correct.
And they expect him to take off where Garoppolo left off at and go further?
No.
They have to expect that. You don't sit a man down that took you to the playoffs that was this close to glory and put the new guy in. What's going on? This organization has done this before. When they had Kaepernick back in the day, when they were moving, they fired the coach and took 10 steps back. What is it with this organization, Steve?
Well, if you remember correctly, the last time they did get to a Super Bowl, they had Kaepernick and they had Alex Smith.
Right.
Season starter, Alex Smith won the majority of the games, gets hurt, Kaepernick comes in, leads him to the Super Bowl.
Right.
The 49ers are looking at this as a two-pronged system. They've now given Garoppolo the highest salary for a backup in the league.
Wow.
Incentive-based, let's remember, while his base salary is only $7 million, he can earn up to $16 million depending on how many games he starts and how well he does as a starter.
I believe he'll be back in by week 5.
Right. You don't sign a contract like that unless you're under the impression that, well, just in case Lance doesn't make it, we're going to put Garoppolo right back in there. And so they're looking at this. Now, for Garoppolo's sake, if you guys remember, I talked about our week 1 session. I told you that Garoppolo, unlike Mayfield, who devalued himself, Garoppolo has actually overvalued himself. And I'm going to explain to you why.
He overvalued himself, but he has the backup role.
Correct.
Baker Mayfield is starting with the possibility of doing what he's due this season, and he will have the biggest payout next season.
Yeah, possibly. But Garoppolo now has a contract that is very friendly to him. First of all, he has a no trade clause in his contract now that he can pick and choose where he wants to go. Number 2, as always, there's always going to be a need for a quarterback somewhere in the league next year. He's going to have his choice of who wants me, where should I go?
I thought the Seahawks were waiting for Garoppolo, and now this puts a monkey wrench in there.
Well, Seahawks, one word or 2 words, Pete Carroll. I mean, Pete Carroll, it's almost I won't call him the Daniel Snyder of coaching because that's just too brutal.
That's low, Steve.
But how has Pete Carroll, in a matter of 6 years, taken what should have been a dynasty? They had a dynasty, the Legion of Doom. You had Russell Wilson. You had Marshawn Lynch. I mean, this team looked like it was going to be Super Bowls for about 10, 11 years. Had everything in place.
They had it.
They've gone from this to possibly being the worst team in the league. They might be in the top 3 or 4 worst.
They imploded. They imploded just like the Texans did. It comes from higher up. The Texans had Deshaun Watson. They had wide receiver core that was out of this world. The only piece that they were missing was a running back that was just running people over. They were one piece from Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And in the matter of you get rid of the number 1 wide receiver in the game.
Yeah, but the Texans.
How do you do that?
No, I'm not a Texans fan either, but the Texans weren't a Super Bowl team. They were up and coming.
They were right there, Steve.
They were close.
One piece away.
They were one piece away. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the trade for Hopkins either.
It was only an analogy because we were talking about teams that imploded. And
yes.
Texans, 49ers, it's looking like they're going down the same path, but they were smart. Somebody was smart that says, don't let Garoppolo go.
Exactly.
He took us to the promised land. We just think we weren't able to get in.
Which leads us to Cleveland. Now, Cleveland, as you guys, we talked about also on our first show. First, it was a 6-game suspension for Watson. Then it was increased to 11. Now you got Jacoby Brissett as a starter. After that, I think they just picked up, who did they pick up as the third string?
I didn't even hear.
Yeah, they just picked up. They cut Josh Rosen.
I was happy that we got Baker Mayfield, and I just left the Browns alone completely.
Yeah, so you're gone now. You've given this guy this huge contract,
right?
And now they're not even going to probably make the playoffs this year with all that talent they have.
Well, they thought that Deshaun Watson was going to be able to play, I guess, after 5 or 6 games, and they would still have a chance.
Well, the Browns are a team that I grew up, I was born in Cleveland. I grew up, wanting to support the Browns for the fan base. I love the fan base there.
You were born in Cleveland?
I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, yes.
Then how did you become a Redskins fan instead of a Cleveland fan?
Well, as a child, when I was 4 years old, we moved to the D.C. area and grew up there ever since. So while I still had love for the Browns, I grew up, the passion, like I said, I grew up at a time when the passion for the Redskins was just so immense that you had no choice. When I grew up, you either were a Redskins fan, or if you were a hater, you were a Cowboy fan. That was it. and nobody else really mattered. People said they're Eagles and Giants, you just laughed at them. But you were either a Redskins fan or a Cowboy fan. And I, of course, couldn't stand the Cowboys, so of course grew from my love for the Redskins. And
there you have it.
There you have it.
Steve is you're a Commander fan now, Steve.
Yeah,
that's not the name anymore. Be appropriate, and your names are the Commanders.
I'll be using the name Redskin this year until I get sued by the NFL. They will always be the Redskins to me, and Commanders. And
be careful what you wish for.
And I will say this much. I will say this. I hope the Commanders prove me wrong and win the division for the players' sake. I'm a players guy. So as much as I hate Snyder, as much as I hate, I have no issue with the front office. I mean, people in the front office are, try hard to get a job. So right. I want the front office to do well. I want the players to do well. I just want the owner gone. So I want that to be understood, that my hatred for the Commanders only lies with the owner. So for the sake of the players, I want the players to be the best possible and do the best season they can. So I would never cheer against the Commanders. I'm only cheering that the owner gets kicked out.
Secretly, you still want them to win?
Oh, absolutely. If it comes down to a Cowboy Commander game, I'm Commanders all the way.
Okay. Now, if you're just now tuning in, Once again, we have the link up for you to get in our competition. The competition is beat the host. You have to beat me and Steve to win an NFL gift card, a $50 NFL gift card, and we're only giving out 2 gift cards if we only get 50 entrants. If we get 51 or over, we'll be giving out 4 gift cards, 2 for Steve and 2 for me. And once again, you have to, the top 2 people that beat Steve, we get each one to get a $50 gift card. The third person, sorry, but your third goes to highest score down. And so as follows with me also. Now, I'm going to leave the link up so you guys can enter the contest, but you must subscribe to our YouTube channel also to be qualified to win your $50 gift card. Now, Steve, we got 1 week left before the season starts.
Yes.
I think we should do some early predictions because next week we're going to be doing picks for that week and what's going on for the game and making sure everybody's okay. So
I'm ready. Let's bring it on.
You ready for predictions? Are you guys ready for predictions? Next week we're going to have phone lines open so you can call in and talk your stuff and argue with us if you want to. But hey, I know what I'm talking about.
I do as well. So let's bring it.
All right, what division you want to start with, Steve?
Let's start with since I've been spending so much time with the NFC East, let's start with the NFC East.
Like, subscribe, and share, please, people. Like, subscribe, and share. NFC East, kick it off, Steve.
All right. Well, I'm going to go this. For the last 10 years, nobody has won the division twice. It's gone Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Commanders.
You will start with your division first.
Yes. So last year, the Cowboys won the division.
Right.
Conventional wisdom is saying the Cowboys are going to win it again. I look at the Cowboys roster, and I'm looking at what have they done to get better? Are they a worse team than they were the year before?
Will Ezekiel Elliott show up this season?
Exactly.
We've been looking for a sighting for him for the last 2 seasons.
Exactly. I mean, I think he is what he is at this point.
Ooh.
He'll have some productive gains, but he's not going to be somebody over the course of the year is going to put huge numbers, but he will have solid numbers. I guess a lot of people are like relying on Pollard as that number 2, change of pace. I think losing Amari Cooper is going to hurt them a lot more than they think.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb, while I had him on my fantasy team last year, and he was solid. I mean, I don't know.
I don't mess with Cowboy players.
Yeah, I don't either usually, but I thought, I liked him in college, so I said, I'm going to break my wisdom and put him on my team.
Okay, so who's first in the division, NFC East?
I'm lying with the Eagles. I'm looking at what the Eagles have done in the offseason and what they've picked up. They've made some good moves. Getting A.J. Brown, I think, was a steal from the Titans.
Steal. That was a steal.
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders now.
It wasn't a big steal like a Baker Mayfield that we got.
No.
But it was a steal.
It's in the top 3. I'll put them in the top 3 as far as steals. And so I think, Jalen Hurts, also, as I say with Baker Mayfield, he has that it factor. There's like a huge chip on his shoulder. He kind of has that kind of angry.
I didn't see it from him, but hey.
Well, I think this season is going to come out even more
mature.
I think he's more mature. I think now he knows there's no doubt he's the man. This is his team. He's going to lead him the way.
So 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I got Eagles first. Between Cowboys and Commanders.
Who's your guy's quarterback?
Carson Wentz. And, Carson Wentz is kind of a bum deal. When you really look at Carson Wentz, he's really a better quarterback than what people want to make him out to be. He's had some bad situations. I mean, yeah, he did kind of collapse towards the end of the Colts season last year. Kind of. No, he collapsed, Steve. He collapsed.
He fell on his face, Steve.
But, I mean, the Colts last year, had the injuries. They were not a playoff team.
Okay.
I mean, you had the running back had a huge season for them last year, Taylor. But other than that, they kind of went where they should have been.
Okay, so 1 Eagles, 2 Dallas, 3 Washington, and 4 Giants.
Yes.
Okay. I'm inclined to. I'm putting the Dallas and the Eagles in a tie. I'm putting Dallas and the Eagles in the tie, and tie breaking mean power schedule or I'm I'll go ahead and I'm gonna go with Dallas. You go with the Eagles. I'm going with the Dallas.
Okay, I can live with that.
And it's the same as follows: Dallas Eagles. But like I said, I think they're going to tie. I think it's going to be neck and neck this season. Next division.
Let's get to NFC North.
Okay.
Now I know where Pack is going to go, so I'm going to just.
This is pretty easy. This is pretty easy.
It's not easy because I'm going to tell you.
This is pretty easy.
This is going to be your. As much as I do not like Kirk Cousins.
Ooh.
As much as I do not like Kirk Cousins, and I've been on record for saying this ever since his raping of the Commanders organization. That's the only word I use. How much money he stole from the Washington Redskins.
Okay.
Even with that, I got the Minnesota Vikings winning the NFC North. Green Bay second, Detroit third, Chicago fourth place.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm gonna, before I let Pack, because I know where he's gonna go. You don't lose with Devontae Adams and not feel the repercussions.
I hear you.
They've lessened what they had from last year. And now you got Fat Rat, Aaron Rodgers with his huge $50 million contract.
Big belly.
Already getting into it with his rookie and young wide receivers.
Okay.
That's a recipe for disaster.
All right. Well, okay. Steve did his picks. Now I'm gonna give it to you straight. Green Bay. It'll be Green Bay, then Minnesota, then Chicago, then Detroit. Okay. No, let me switch that. Detroit, then Chicago. But who's going to win the division to be Green Bay? It's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still the same man. And look for those wide receivers to get overworked.
And there you go. So let's expect that's going to be your first downfall right there. So just to know, mark this down into the season when you see Minnesota as NFC North champions.
It's on video. We'll be able to come back right here. Green Bay wins the NFC North this season, period. But Minnesota will have a strong showing. Be right there with them. Be right there, right? But they'll be with the wide receiver core that Rodgers has now. I'll say they'll be winning by 2 games.
Okay, well, you guys just remember that. We'll get back to it.
Now we go to the South.
Now this is where it's going to get interesting.
Hey, kick it out, Steve.
I'll go first. I already know where Pack is going to go.
Everybody know where I'm going to go. It's the NFC South.
But this,
holla at your boy Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation. We in here.
I'm going off of history.
You can go off of history if you want to, Steve.
TB12. Tom Brady 12.
Okay, 12.
As long as he's a starting quarterback, Tampa Bay will be the division champion.
Okay.
Much better talent, much better leader at quarterback. Even though like I mentioned before, I am a Baker Mayfield fan. I do think he's going to help rise the team above. Let's keep in mind, last year the Panthers were 5-12.
Yeah, we're 5-12. Who was the quarterback then?
Sam Darnold.
Okay, who's the quarterback now?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, I hear it change, people. So, I hear it change. I don't think Steve heard the change. You brought up that record,
yes,
but you brought up that record when it was a different quarterback at the helm last year. This year we have a new pilot.
So I could see easily 10-7, maybe even 11-6.
Okay, who's first in the division, Steve?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Who's second?
Carolina.
Who's third?
New Orleans.
Okay, and then that puts Atlanta last. Okay.
Yes.
Let me give you the real deal. Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation, stand up. Carolina wins the NFC South this year, and we're gonna split with Tampa Bay. If not, beat them both games, and we're gonna run it down their throat when we play them.
Okay. All right.
Gronk is not on that team anymore, and Brady does still have an all-star cast. He has arguably 3 number 1 wide receivers on the roster right now, even though Julio Jones, they try to say he's lost his step. I don't think he lost his step. What I think he lost his quarterback. The team lost faith. He lost faith in the team, and he's moved on, and now he's with Brady.
And Brady has a history of boosting up veteran wide receivers late in their career.
He's going to take off because that height. He's going to take over where Gronk is missing.
Well, let's remember Randy Moss back in the day. They had a legendary season where people thought Randy Moss was losing a step, and he went to New England and had that season where, minus a Giants surprise upset win the Super Bowl, that team would have gone undefeated.
Well, Carolina first, New Orleans second, Tampa Bay third, and sorry, Mr. Serrano, Mike Serrano, thank you for the like that you just gave us on Facebook. But yeah, your team is going to be picking up the backfield. NFC West, Steve. Let's get into it.
Let's get right into it. This is real simple. It's going to be between the Rams and Arizona.
Between the Rams and Arizona?
It's going to be between the Rams and Arizona.
Steve, stop double talking and give me your first, second, and third, and fourth.
Well, I'm going to make it clear.
All right, make it clear. Kick it out.
The Rams will pull out the division. Close. It'll be close, though.
Close?
Arizona will be second.
Okay.
Niners third. Seattle in last place. It can go either way, but I will say I give the Rams a slight edge in talent.
I would, if they would have kept Garoppolo, just about gave it to the Rams to win this division with that how that defense plays and that smash mouth football they play. That really hurt a lot of teams last season, that smash mouth football. But it's Rams all day. Rams, then Arizona, but San Francisco, as long as Trey Lance is in there, and I'm not saying Trey Lance is a bad option. I'm just saying this is his first time. It's going to be like a deer in the headlights. I just feel that. But it's not a knock on him. I believe he's gonna wake up and he's going to be a solid quarterback in the league.
Don't forget they still have Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, among other things. So
weapons that Garoppolo used to utilize.
I mean, you do realize that Geno Smith's starting for Seattle.
He can start, but Rams number 1, Arizona 2, and San Francisco 3, and Seattle 4th.
Okay.
Where are we going? AFC
Let's go AFC East, baby.
All right.
Real simple again. But I do have one surprise. I will say that.
Yeah.
I got the Buffalo Bills, of course, in first place.
Of course.
I think they're a consensus Super Bowl favorite this year.
I believe everybody stays healthy. That's the Super Bowl win this year.
Yeah. And I will agree with you to a point.
That's the only team that didn't lose anybody, that got their eye on the ball, and they look hungry from last season because they were robbed.
And I was robbed also.
I know. I had all that money, Steve. It was in my hand.
Yes, I remember.
I was in Vegas. I had winning tickets. It was 13 seconds left on the clock. I went and got a massage and got an extra hour. I was excited. I was like, yeah, I just want all this money. I couldn't wait to go to the bookie booth. And I came out and I went to the bookie. They was looking at me like, no, this ticket lost. I was like, no.
Yeah, that was one of the great playoff games last year. That
was
if you turned in from the fourth quarter into the overtime, I mean, that was just amazing game. But yes.
First, second, and third, and fourth, Steve.
I got Buffalo first.
Right.
Now, my surprise second place team is the Miami Dolphins.
I don't know why it's a surprise.
I'm taking the Dolphins over New England because the Dolphins have made more moves to better themselves. Tyreek Hill is going to be a huge part of their offense. And KC, when I get to their pick, they will have a letdown.
That Dolphin defense give the Buffalo Bills a time every time they play them.
Hey, absolutely.
I wouldn't put it past them giving them a run for their money, even though I just said the Buffalo Bills will win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I'm still
But I like Tua. I'm a Tua guy. I got Tua on quite a few of my fantasy teams, and I think he will have a strong season. But I don't think it's quite enough to overtake the Bills.
See, there you go, Steve. Tua is your quarterback.
Tua is my quarterback.
Your starting quarterback.
My starting quarterback in 2 leagues. Yeah, I got a strong feeling that Tua is going to put up big numbers. They might not win 13, 14 games, but he will put up numbers with his 2 receivers. You got Waddle and you got Tyreek Hill. They're going to put up numbers.
Let me let everybody see my face. Steve,
alrighty.
Come on, Steve. I'm
just telling you guys will see come into the fantasy season when Tua is a top 10 fantasy quarterback. You heard it here first.
Hey, Tua, I give him props. He got two of the best wide receivers in the NFL,
and a strong tight end too.
but it's Tua's arm strong.
Yes,
I was watching him in practice. He was throwing the ball down there, but he loses some accuracy in them long balls, man.
He's a game player. He's one of those guys. He's not going to look the best in practice, but when you see him in the games, trust me, he's going to be one of the most improved players in the league this year. Heard it here first.
Okay. I'm gonna stop with that. I'm gonna stop with that, Steve. Okay, so we're in agreement in the NFC East. There's no Buffalo Bills #1, Miami #2, AFC North.
Let's get there. I got Baltimore Ravens bouncing back this year to take over the AFC North. Cincinnati will have Super Bowl loser letdown. They're going to still have a strong season. I got them in a wild card spot, but now the hunter becomes the hunted. It's a big difference when you're last place schedule to a first place schedule. They're going to have a couple game letdown, just enough to let Baltimore slip in to take the East. Then I got Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Well, I disagree with you with this division. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals with taking the first place, and Baltimore making a strong second place appeal. And Pittsburgh, look out for Pittsburgh. I believe this division has the power to have three teams make a run. Pickett was looking pretty good. And Pickett is another person that in practice he's Clark Kent, but in a game, he takes out his little cape. In the game, Pickett looks pretty good.
I guess he hasn't checked that Pickett right now. I think it's third on the depth chart, but it's okay. He can look like a cape on the bench. He have a nice Pittsburgh Steelers cape as
Pickett will be starting
as he's riding the bench. Mitchell Trubisky been announced as starter.
Wow!
And Mitchell Trubisky actually, he'll do stuff for you. He's not bad.
I already said Cincinnati first place, Baltimore second, Pittsburgh. If that's true, hey, there it is.
Cleveland will give me third just based on defense alone. Their defense will allow them to be in third place.
Who's the Browns starting quarterback?
Jacoby Brissett.
I'm gonna have the Browns beating Pittsburgh if they start with Trubisky.
They start with Trubisky. That's
so. First Cincinnati, second Baltimore, third the Browns, and Pittsburgh coming up in last.
All right, sounds
AFC
good.
South.
AFC South. This is going to be my surprise.
I know where you're going there.
You know where I'm going.
Go ahead.
Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
They're going to win the division. The Titans will have a setback.
They got to blow the whistle on this one.
Blow the whistle, baby.
The Titans will have a setback in what way, Steve?
You don't lose a A.J. Brown. You don't lose a Julio Jones. And who did they put in to replace them?
They got Woods, right?
Like I said, you don't lose a A.J. Brown.
So you
don't lose a Julio Jones.
You know Woods was a #1 wide receiver himself, right?
Like I said again, you don't lose a A.J. Brown. You don't lose a Julio Jones.
Okay, Steve.
And keep in mind.
Okay, Steve.
Let's keep it in mind. Who's the starting quarterback for the Titans?
Hey. So this division is nasty anyway. This is the division that you wish that the NFL would go as best record, and somebody in that division doesn't even make it because this is a sad division.
Now, if you didn't think they didn't put 8 people in the box before, with what they got, he's talking about Robert Woods. It's supposed to scare me into thinking that we're going to.
He's explosive. He's explosive. All right. So you're going with #1 Indianapolis, number 2
Titans,
number 3
Jags, and number 4 Houston.
Okay.
I think and Jags will be the most improved team in the league this year.
And I'm going with Tennessee 1, Indianapolis 2, Jacksonville 3, and Houston 4th. AFC West.
All right.
Drum roll. First place.
For those guys who remember our first show this season, I came here wearing a Chargers cap.
Ooh.
And I did that to piss off the Raider and Ram fans, but I'm sticking to my core. Los Angeles Chargers will win the AFC West.
This is a division, and I like the Raiders. I'm not disrespecting Kansas City. But they lost their X factor. Kansas City had a team that could be from behind. What are you trying to say?
You're on record as saying you're choosing the Las Vegas Raiders
Yes.
to win the AFC West.
Yep.
Mark this down, guys. August 31st, 2022. Packett stated he's picking the Raiders to win the AFC West
and I'm
over
not a Raiders fan.
The Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos.
Yes. Hey, I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, who's your number one, Steve?
Chargers first, Chiefs second, Broncos third, Raiders in last place.
Woo! And I'm going with Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers in last place. You heard it. Broncos first. Raiders first, Broncos second, Chiefs third, and Chargers last place.
Okay, let me just ask you one question.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
On what grounds can you possibly think the Chargers will finish in last place? Give me any kind of logical reasoning that'll make you think that.
It's the feeling I'm getting.
Do you not realize what the Chargers have on their team?
What do they have, Steve? What do they have? Go ahead, tell me. What do they have?
What was already a strong defense. Who they had? Ex-Raider. What's his name? Linebacker.
Okay.
So now you got Joey Bosa.
Okay.
And they still got Derwin James. That team is loaded on defense.
Loaded.
Justin Herbert was already passing Derek Carr last year as a rookie.
Let me say it again.
He's going to get better.
Let me say it again. Raiders number one in this division. No.
You said Raiders number one. No.
Broncos two. Kansas City 3. And the Chargers last. You heard it. I said what I said.
All right. Well, I'm circling this date.
Wait a minute. What's going on over
because
there?
I will.
What's going on over there?
I'm writing this down because come January, you're going to have to answer this.
Hey, well, we did all these predictions. What's your Super Bowl prediction, Steve?
Right now, if I had to predict today, I got Buffalo.
This is before the season starts, people.
Before the season starts.
Buffalo.
And out of the AFC, I got one last hurrah for
Buffalo.
My man, Tom Brady. Buffalo versus Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my Super Bowl prediction.
I'm not even going to honor that with blowing the whistle on that one.
All right.
But I'm taking Buffalo, and I'm going to go ahead and put them Rams back up in there. It all depends.
Yeah.
It all depends because this could change because, Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Wyatt, Panther Nation. Hey, we got a new man in town with a lot of talent. And we just picked up another wide receiver, right?
Yes, you did. LaVisca.
Hey. When the playoffs start, anything can happen. It's a whole new season. But these are predictions before the season even start.
Yes.
I gotta go with what I feel, and I believe it'll be Buffalo and Rams. Long as everybody stays healthy. Did we know where Odell's going?
Right now, Odell is still recovering from his knee injury he had last year. So I think at this point, they're waiting until he's 100% healthy. He's a free agent, so a lot of things will change during the season. He's going to be in a good position to go wherever he's needed. So he's going to probably choose, of course, a playoff team, and he's going to choose some place where he can step in, just like last year with the Rams. He forced his way out of Cleveland, got into a great situation with the Rams, and let's remember this also with his Rams prediction. There will be no Odell There's no Von Miller. These are two guys. And since you mentioned Robert Woods, there's no Robert Woods either.
Yeah,
so these are three guys who are on this championship team that are no longer with the Rams.
They picked up another great addition in wide receiver. They'll be just fine.
Yeah, Allen Robinson,
just fine.
He's yet to be proven. Let's just say
just fine. That's the same thing you said about Matthew Stafford going to the Rams.
Yes,
and now Matthew Stafford has another one in the arsenal.
Yeah,
both sides covered.
Okay,
championship.
All right, and let's keep in mind too, the Rams also are playing off of a first place schedule, which also is going to play a part as well.
Is Donald getting suspended for using his helmet like a hammer?
Should.
So that might play into some.
That could play into it.
That could play into some games.
That could play as well.
But it's going to be beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry we ran over a little bit. Next season, official blow the whistle starts.
Let's do it.
Official show. Finally, an official show. These preliminary shows are something else. But, we've been getting the bugs out. Just like today, we start off with no sound. And we had to go back and reboot. And, okay, now we got sound. Thank you, guys. It's not going to do anything but get better and better.
Absolutely.
And
I'm excited for the season. Like I said, next Wednesday we will finally be one game away from the start of the season.
I get to put my picks in.
Let's go ahead and get this started. No more talk. Time to play.
Yes, sir. And once again, we let the link up the whole show. They have no excuse for you not to be in this competition to win some of these free NFL gift cards. Let's get it over to 100 people. Let's get hand it out to your friends. Long as they subscribe to the YouTube channel, they will be official contestant in the pool. Get in so you can have a chance. You don't have a chance of winning my gift cards, but if we get over 100 people, Steve will be giving away like 6 gift cards.
Not happening, guys. As you see from his picks, let's remember, he's picking the Raiders to win the AFC West.
Look, that's a prediction. When we get to these picks, hey, anything can happen. It's just predictions. Hey,
I'm gonna mark this every week when he picks against the Raiders. I'm gonna sit there and just document. One pick against them.
One thing you can document, one thing you can take to the bank. Last season, I said the Rams would be the Super Bowl champions, and before the season started, who's the Super Bowl champions?
You got.
So you can talk about me how you want. I was right last season, and it's on film. Yeah. Thank you once again. Next week, Steve.
Let's do it.
Y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.